Hello friends, let us now learn some important points about the hysteria, or we call it as dissociative disorders or conversion disorders. So hysteria, dissociative disorders or conversion disorders, this is given by the scientist Sigmund Freud has given about this hysteria, dissociation disorders or conversion disorders in 1894, and that is the reason why we call him as father of psychiatry. According to Sigmund Freud, there is three stages of mind in our mind. So one, we have consciousness, pre-consciousness and unconsciousness. Consciousness is the thing that we are now, but whenever the person is in stress, so in extreme stressful conditions, the person's unconscious part of our brain, that will slowly starts to manifest physical symptoms. So in extreme states of stress, the person's, our body, in that too unconscious part of mind, will start manifesting some physical symptoms. That is, these physical symptoms are include pseudo seizures. These physical symptoms mainly include development of pseudo seizures. There can be developments of pseudo aphonia and pseudo blindness can occur. Symptoms like pseudo seizures, that is, there are no seizures but he feels that he is having seizures. He can speak, no organic, in all these there is no organic disease, but the patient still feels that he has these problems. So this is mainly because of the psychological stress that he is having, and that stress will produce these secondary symptoms. This will produce psychological trauma in the patient. So all these are actually the dissociative disorders, which will give us the gain, particular gain. So if you see the gain, so these disorders will cause the following gains. So this gain can be divided into three types. One, we have primary gain, secondary gain and tertiary gain. In primary gain, the patient will have relief from unconscious anxiety or signal, that is internal psychological motivation. That means here in primary gain, he feels that actually, for example, if a person has lost his limb and he is not working he could not work, so previously he is unemployed, so he has that guilt that though he is fit and well and fit, he is not able to get a proper job. But now he has lost his leg, so now he thinks that because he has lost his leg, so though he could not earn, he could not go out and he could not get any employed, that's okay. So that is, his guilt that he has before has been decreased. Then we have secondary gain. Secondary gain is external physiological motivation. So if you think this, the same patient who has previously, when he is well and fit, in such cases his parents were always on him, that he were always against him, always they were tormenting him, telling that, and scolding him, always saying that he is not going to work, though he is well and fit. And whereas the other people who are of his age and who are of less education than him are employed, but still he is not employed. So their parents were always putting pressure on him about his unemployment. But now, because he has lost leg, the parents stopped asking him about employment, and the parents in turn started helping the patient. The parents are actually giving him positive comments. They are always trying to keep him happy. So there is external psychological motivation. That is the secondary gain that the patient gets. Then we have the tertiary gain. This tertiary gain refers to the family members' benefits. Now here the benefit is not on the patient but to the family members. See, because that person has lost his leg, so because of that he is not employed. Now he is not employed. Now his wife is getting money from her parents. So this is the tertiary gain, that is his wife is mainly his wife is mainly benefiting from his situation of losing the leg. So that is tertiary gain. Okay, so these are the main important gains. Then Hippocrates, in 350 BC, he is given as father of medicine, and he is the person who has given the word hysteria, meaning wandering uterus. He has given the term hysteria, meaning wandering uterus. According to Hippocrates, there is loss of function of the organ can occur despite of normal anatomy and normal physiology. This is called as aesthesia abasia. That means, for example, here the patient is not suffering from paralysis, but he is not feeling paralysis also, but he is not able to move. He has got paralyzed because of loss of function. His leg is normal, everything is normal, but he is just paralyzed mainly due to the stress and physiological trauma. So that is called as aesthesia abasia by Hippocrates. Now we will learn some important dissociative disorders. So if you see the dissociative disorders, there are mainly 8 different types of dissociative disorders. Type 1 dissociative disorder, which is dissociative amnesia. So here there is a psychological trauma to the patient due to some type of stress, and as a result he loses memory of that event which has caused him stress. So that is dissociative amnesia, loss of memory of an event, that is dissociative amnesia. Then the second one is dissociative fugue. In dissociative fugue, there is sudden unexpected travel of the person away from the home, and he suddenly travels away from the home, and he is unable to recognize his past, and when he has travelled, during the period of his travel, he will give himself a new identity, and he will live with that identity, and self-care is completely maintained during travel. He is completely normal, but he does not have any memory about his past, and he gives himself a new identity, new past, that is dissociative fugue. Then third is dissociative stupor. In dissociative stupor, stressful event must have resulted stupor in the patient, unconsciousness in the patient. Then fourth, dissociative trance and possession disorder. Here in this dissociation trance or possession disorder, there is loss of sense of identity is seen. There is loss of sense of identity. Here the patient behaves as if he is taken up by other personality. He completely behaves as other personality. For example, if you see in dissociative trance and possession disorder, for example, he is possessed by a goddess. So that is dissociative trance and possession disorder. In fifth type, this is dissociative disorder of movement and sensation. In dissociative disorder of movement and sensation, there is deficit in motor and sensory function. That means the patient might have paralysis or ataxia. Then it is dissociative motor disorder. Remember, this paralysis and ataxia are psychological. He is completely normal anatomically. There is no pathology. Then pseudo seizures can occur, which is dissociative convulsions. Then the patient develops sensory loss, visual disturbances, which includes dissociative anesthesia and sensory loss. So this is the in this also the patient is completely normal. On examination, you see that the patient is completely normal. Then there is one more important thing, that is labellae indifference. This labellae indifference is a term which will tell us that the feeling of indifference towards the patient's symptoms. That means, see, here the patient has paralysis, the patient might have ataxia, or sometimes the patient may even become blind. But if you see, the patient does not have fear, or the patient does not have the feeling that he has become blind or he has lost his movement ability. He is not afraid, he is completely normal. That is labellae indifference. Then we have depersonalization or derealization disorder. According to depersonalization and derealization disorder, this will always starts with as if. In depersonalization disorder, he always feels as if his finger has been changed, or he feels as if his shirt has been changed, or he feels as if he has been changed. It is everything about the person. That is depersonalization disorder. In derealization disorder, he feels that the surrounding has been changed. He feels that something has been changed. So here he feels that the change is in the external world. That is, there is feeling of unreality in external world. That is derealization. If there is feeling of unreality of self, then that is depersonalization disorder. Then the seventh disorder is dissociative identity disorder or multiple personality disorder. In dissociative identity disorder or multiple personality disorder, there will be two or more distinct personalities present in an individual. But among those two or more distinct personalities, only one of them is always present at a particular time. That is multiple personality disorder or dissociative personality disorder. Lots of movies have been based on this syndrome. Then eighth, which is Gassner syndrome or War-Beijehen syndrome. In Gassner syndrome or War-Beijehen syndrome, this is the syndrome of appropriate answers. That means the patient, if you ask the patient for some questions, the answers are incorrect, they are wrong answers, but they are related to the questions. For example, if the patient is asked about the color of the sky, the patient answers it has red. True, this is incorrect, but you will know that the patient understood the question. He knows that red is a color, right? So this is approximate answers. Then in these patients, there is clouding of consciousness, there is auditory or visual hallucinations are seen. So this Gassner syndrome is most commonly seen in prisoners. In this Gassner syndrome, gains should not be allowed. Then the treatment of this Gassner syndrome is behavioral therapy and psychoanalysis is the treatment of Gassner's syndrome. Right? So this is about the Gassner syndrome, that is hysteria and dissociative disorders. Thank you for watching. In the next class, we will learn about conversion disorders. Thank you.